everyone. Welcome to Time to Thrive. This is your host, Bethany Meadows. Every business owner knows they need some sort of video strategy, but often feel intimidated on where to get started. Today's guest is going to guide us through how to build a foundational video plan centered around connection, how to layer video into an existing marketing plan, and the secret to harnessing the power of your brand story. Tony Gnau is an Emmy award-winning journalist, chief storytelling officer, and more recently, the author of Lights, Camera, Impact, Storytelling, Branding, and Production Tips for Engaging Corporate Videos. Tony is the founder of T60 Productions, which specializes in telling businesses stories. He's responsible for amazing video content for big brands, including United Airlines, Walgreens, US Bank, and NBA All-Star Dwyane Wade. In addition to Tony's 3 Emmy Awards, his company has also won 17 Telly Awards. Extraordinary. Welcome to the show, Tony.
Who's that guy? I want to listen to the podcast with that guy.
Our bios always make us sound so good.
Well, thanks for having me here, Bethany. I'm really happy to be on the podcast.
I'm thrilled, and I know we rescheduled again. We've persisted because we knew it was going to be a great show, and we really wanted to get to it. So, like all our shows, we ask our guests to pick a number between 1 and 5, so you can get the super random question.
All right. Well, let's go with 2.
2. All right. What is one surefire way to grab your attention?
Wow. What's one surefire way to grab my attention? Well, honestly, I mean, I'm a video guy, right? So, I mean, it's probably some sort of a good video, but the reason it's grabbing my attention is probably different than it grabs, most consumers' attention, whether they're B2B or B2C. For me, it's because I'm fascinated in how they put it together and the story they decided to tell. And I'm like looking at all of that stuff. But, that's probably the easiest way to grab my attention.
Yeah, well, I get that because, as a marketing professional, like I can spot the typo on a movie poster as soon as I walk in the lobby. We're just wired for that, right?
Yep, exactly.
I read somewhere recently that 92% of consumer website traffic is generated through video content. And I don't know the stats, but just based on looking around my sphere and the business owners that I work with, I'd say the majority of business owners still don't have video included in their marketing, which is really a big mistake. What would you say to those business owners about the value of video?
Well, I mean, it's funny because like in video, we're always talking about storytelling and emotion and all that, because I'm a firm believer that video isn't about facts and figures. Video is about emotion. But when it comes to talking to business owners and people like that, they kind of need those facts and figures. And so, yeah, I mean, if you just go on and, do a search for video marketing statistics, you'll be blown away at the data that is out there. And if a business owner is in denial as to the value or the importance of it, those are the numbers they need to see. I mean, like I was looking at a HubSpot statistic yesterday, actually, about product and service videos, that I think it's 81% of people have decided to buy a product or service having watched the video. 81%. I mean, how would you like that return on your marketing tactic investment? I mean, that's an amazing statistic. So, I mean, and that's just one. I mean, there are tons of statistics like that. So, for any marketers out there who are trying to convince business owners, that's what I would do. I would go in and look for some of those statistics and present them. For business owners, I say, get on board. You are not just whatever your company produces anymore. You are now a media company.
Right.
Every single business is a media company. You don't have to buy expensive TV spots or anything like that anymore because we have this.
Yeah.
We have this as being an avenue for us to get our videos out there, the internet. And so, if you don't feel as though you are a media company, I'm here to tell you that you are. And so you should embrace it. and this is something that can be extremely good for your business, and, you know, get to it. And I'm here to help. You know, if you need a plan, if you need to figure out what to do, you know, that's what I'm here to hopefully help with.
Okay, Tony has spoken. So now everybody needs to go ahead and get that video strategy going. You know, people do business with brands that they know, like, and trust, right? And video is a great way to establish that, not just recognition of the brand, but the credibility and ultimately building that relationship with their audience. What are some ways that businesses can do that they can take it not just from recognition, but all the way to relationship using video?
Well, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you know, it's all about building trust. And if we're trying to build trust with our audience, then video is the medium to do it, because you actually have an opportunity to speak with them face to face. And, you know, there are all sorts of different ways that you can go about it. You know, I'm all about storytelling. I want businesses to tell their stories, because storytelling is the shortcut to the human heart. And so if you can tell good stories kind of throughout your marketing funnel, then that is the trust building experience that you're giving to your customers as they're getting to know you, as they first become aware of you, as they learn more about you, and then they are getting to the point where they're trying to decide whether or not they're going to do business with you. You can use video throughout that cycle to help build that trust so that they will be more willing to purchase from you.
You know, one of the things I think is an obstacle for a lot of business owners, and it was for me, I'm going to be super honest, like this is a big thing for me to be on. I know anyone who's listening on the podcast, they don't realize, but we're also on YouTube. So this is actually a video. And I mean, before I would get on a video, I'd be like breathing into a paper bag. Like, it would just freak me out. And, you know, so there's that whole imposter syndrome that happens, and that, you know, it's so outside of our comfort zone of what, you know, I'm comfortable sitting at my desk making stuff happen. Getting on a video and being a personality, or being, you know, we have in our head this perception of what people expect from us, and then we're trying to meet that expectation, and it gets us all stressed out. And then there's also another obstacle, is that perception that video is expensive. You know, so, you know, maybe I can't afford it. So what advice would you give to a business owner that would rather have a root canal than get on video?
Boy, well, you know, let's start with that. You know, I run into people all the time who are very nervous about going on camera, and, you know, it's not the type of thing that they're comfortable doing. The first thing that I tell them is that this is your video. Now, what we're doing right now is a little different. This is live, you know, you're recording a live interaction that we're having. So this is a little different. But if you're creating a video for yourself, you have control over that video. You know, so it's not like you say something, it goes out, you know, into the world, and there's no way you can retrieve it ever again if you misspoke, or, you know, something went wrong. That's not what we're talking about here. You have control over, excuse me, that video that you are ultimately going to put out into the world. So that should give you at least a little bit of reassurance that, you know, okay, you know, this isn't getting a root canal. You know, I have some control over this. You know, it's only going to be as painful as I, you know, sort of allow it to be. And you can kind of go from there. The second thing is that we are all delivering our message every single day to people we know, people we meet. If you were at, you know, a get together with a bunch of different people, you met up in a bar somewhere, you went to go get coffee, and somebody walks up, somebody new, and they say, "Oh, what do you do?" And you tell them what it is that you do. You would never think twice about it. You know, you would never think twice about your little elevator pitch that, you know, you kind of have prepared to tell people about that sort of thing. So why should video be any different? I mean, you know, we make it different because we see that, camera lens in front of us, and we tense up, and it's like we have to, we have to deliver a performance. No, just be yourself.
That's right.
Envision that camera lens that you're talking to, or if you're talking to somebody off camera or whatever it might be, you're just having a conversation with that person. And again, you have ultimate control over this. If you say something you don't like, or it didn't go well, or whatever, well, guess what? We just don't use that take.
Right.
We do another take. You can get into kind of paralysis by analysis at that point, because you want everything to be perfect. So you have to realize it's not always going to be perfect.
I totally do that, Tony.
And you're not alone. A lot of people do that. So it's like, it really is this balance, between, we want you to have enough confidence to get on camera and do it, but we want you to understand that you have that control, but at the same time, we don't want you to get paralyzed by that control and wanting every little thing to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, you know? So if you say, at some point during your little elevator pitch or whatever it might be, it's okay. That's the way we talk, you know? So if it happens constantly over and over and over again, well, that's something that needs to be addressed. But every once in a while is not a big deal. So, so don't worry about it. So ultimately it's, you have control over this. Don't panic. You don't have to put it out into the world if you're not happy with it.
Right.
And just get to it. Give it a try, because it's just like anything else. The more you do it, the more you practice it, the easier it gets.
Well, and the actual truth is that people connect faster, better, whatever, with brands that feel genuine, that feel real. Perfection does not feel genuine or real. It feels contrived. It feels rehearsed. So the and the the craziness that happens, like on a podcast, trying to make it perfect. We're under a tornado watch. I told you before we went on the air, and I said, if I disappear, you'll know what happened to me. But, sometimes I bring my dog to the office, and sometimes he barks during a podcast. That's just real. And so I just can't stress about it. I just need to let it be.
Well, and I'll tell you something, Bethany. I mean, I love hearing you say that, because that is exactly the kind of attitude that you have to have when you go into it. And, when we put together professional videos, and we're a video production company, we produce corporate videos for customers. When we're putting together our videos, we don't have any sort of a written script. We produce all of our videos by doing interviews, collecting sound bites, and then piecing together the sound bites to tell the story. One of the reasons we do that is because we feel like it provides a far more authentic message than something that's been scripted in advance for people to say. And every now and again, we will get some pushback from one of our customers, when we get to the scripting phase, because we will actually provide them with a written script, but all it is those sound bites that are strung together. So we'll get somebody who will say, can we change that one thing in here that was said? And we always say, no, we can't, because this isn't a written script. That's what Susan said, or that's what Bob said, and we can't change it. And they start stressing out about it. And the way I always describe it to people is, in that sort of situation, what you give up in control, you get back in authenticity. And I will take a more genuine, authentic sounding video over a perfect video 10 times out of 10, because of the exact thing that you talked about. People respond to that. They want authentic messages. So much so that when we're putting together a professional video, if somebody says a lot, there are little tricks that we can use to take ums out. If we have video that we can use to cover what they're saying, so you can't see them talking, or, there are all sorts of little tricks. We will frequently leave ums in, because like I said, that's how people talk. That sounds authentic. So don't be paralyzed by that sort of thing. And I love hearing you say, everything that you did, because that is exactly the attitude that you have to have.
Yeah. Well, and the number one cure for imposter syndrome is confidence. And confidence happens the more you do something. So sometimes you just got to get over yourself. And And
That's
just do
the
it,
book
and
that I
just
always
know it's okay to suck for the first little while you're figuring it out. Like, just
but I am actually I that cracks me up because like, I will frequently say, like if they, somebody says, well, what should I say to our, executive who's afraid to go on camera or whatever? I usually jokingly say, tell them to get over themselves. So I love hearing that.
yeah, there's a little pride factor going on there.
Yeah.
Engagement is a big buzzword that we're always talking about, especially as it relates to social media and things like that. How can we create a video that sparks curiosity and gets people excited about our products and services? What elements need to be included in there that will do that for us?
There are certain things, and I think that this really, grabbing them from the start of the video is something that's really important. You often hear about our attention spans and how short our attention spans are. And I was actually leaving an event earlier this week, and somebody like grabbed me as I was walking through the parking lot, and they said, "What's the thing that drives you crazy about most videos, or about a lot of videos? And what's the thing that you hate most?" And one of the things that I hate most is now this is different. You're doing a podcast, so I want to make this absolutely clear. But if you're just doing like a regular corporate video, when it starts with, "Hi, I'm Tony Gnau with T60 Productions," that drives me absolutely insane, because the truth of the matter is nobody cares who you are.
That's right.
Get to your point, get to something that is going to hook people right away. If you have like a big thought or a big declarative sort of message that you want to give, whether it's about your company or a product or a service or whatever it might be, say it from the start. Then if you want to introduce yourself, that's fine. Make that big statement. You go out there, and I say, video isn't about facts and figures. Video is about emotion. And that's what you need to do with your videos. "Hi, I'm Tony Gnau with T60 Productions." Like, that is a much more engaging way to start a video. And when it comes to engagement, if there is any way that you can involve your audience, where you're sort of talking directly to them, the word "you" is something that really grabs people's attention. So if you can use the word "you," especially at the very beginning of the video, that's a great way to grab people and get them interested for what's to come. Oh, wait a second. This is about me? This video, this message is for me? So that's a great way to get people to engage.
A lot of times in our marketing, the thing that we try and lead with is the pain points that we feel like our target audience is struggling with. And then we get into how we can help solve those pain points. So I imagine the same thing is true with video. Like, that's a good lead in to say, hey, are you struggling with whatever? And then
that's perfect.
That's something to get some people's attention to say, yeah, I am. So I need
Exactly.
to listen to this video. Videos can also be used. One of the great things about videos, they can explain a really complex thing that you cannot explain in a 140 character tweet, or even on a website. Sometimes it can be difficult because people don't want to read a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
Like you mentioned earlier about attention spans being so short. And the thing about video is that you can explain something complex, but do it in a way that's somewhat entertaining, doesn't require anything from them except to watch. Is there a format or approach when it comes to that? Like, I guess they've called an explainer video, maybe?
Sure. Well, I mean, the great thing about explainer videos or anything like that, where you're trying to explain something complex, one of the reasons why video is so powerful is because they get the written word, although it comes out as audio, it comes out as speech, but then you can provide them with images that go along with it. So it's one thing to, either read something or see and listen to somebody just on camera talk about a product or a service or, whatever it might be, whatever it is they're trying to explain. But it's another thing when you're able to put that together with images. So anytime you can have somebody explaining whatever it is, and then put over the top of what they're saying corresponding video that shows people what they're talking about, that's what really makes an explainer video work. And then, I mean, you can build in sort of an emotional component too, whether it be a story that you're telling about, that particular product or service or whatever it is that you're explaining, or music that you put underneath all of it to kind of create a mood. So there's so much that you can do with video that attracts many of our senses and, helps explain whatever it is that you're getting into.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things we have to determine if you're a small business owner, like I have a marketing agency, and in our marketing agency, what I will say to our clients, because they're on retainer and we're full service, we will do low production value videos for them. If it's high production value, then we have a team that outside that we would, sub it out to, because we know what our strengths are, and we don't have enough business for us to have a high production value team in house. How can a business owner determine what videos could be done by them as a low production video, and what videos they need to, go ahead and hire someone and get, what video is it that they need to hire to have a company like yours do?
Right. Well, I think the first thing they need to do is answer probably the most important question when you go to put together any video. And this goes for a marketing campaign as well. And that's, who's our audience? When you determine who your audience is, now all of a sudden that gives you a little bit better direction on the style of video that you want to do and what they're going to, what's going to be more palatable to them. Right now in the time that we're living in, there is absolutely no reason why businesses can't be doing their own TikTok videos or reels or, whatever. Pick your short form social media videos. There's absolutely no reason why businesses can't be doing those on their own. It pains me as a video producer to say that, but it's the truth. They don't need. Now, I mean, there might be some sort of a highly polished campaign that you want, a professional TikTok or reel or whatever. That's fine. But I mean, just on a regular basis, if you're going to be producing videos for social, go do those on your own. It is totally fine to do that. And they will be absolutely accepted by your audience without any question at all, because they're looking at them in their social feeds every single day. So whether it's, from a friend of theirs or a brand that they're interested in, it makes no difference to them in terms of the quality of those videos. Now, if you're going to do something like an About Us video that you want to live on your website or something, then that's a video that you should probably hire a professional to do. Because the About Us video is a video that is, what I like to describe as your first impression video. Somebody's trying to learn more about your company and they've come to your website and they want to know more about who you are, what you do, and why you do it. You want to present them with a professional look and feel, because you want them to get the impression that you are a professional company. And if you give them an amateur video, it makes you look like an amateur. So it's really kind of figuring out who your audience is, where you're going to be showing these videos, and that gives you a better idea kind of whether or not you can DIY it or have pros do it.
Do you have any tips or ideas for getting video content seen? Like, is there a magic formula that helps videos go viral?
If you find that, can you get in touch with, send me an email and let me know? I mean, look, it's, I think we've gotten a little beyond the point of, there was a time when we would have lots of customers who would come to us and they'd say, we want a viral video. And I'd say, so do I. How do we do that? I wish there was a formula to say, yep, you're going to go viral on this. The thing that I would, even then, now as well, when somebody wants a video to go viral, what I always talk to them about is expectations and just having realistic expectations. Because I mean, it would be great to have a viral video that 1 million people see, or more than 1 million people, or something like that. But are all of those people your customers? Like, are all of they, like, I rather have, 200 people watch a video of ours who are diehard customers or like really in need of video production than 1 million people who, really aren't.
Amused by it. Yeah.
So the trick isn't going viral. The trick is producing a video that's going to appeal to your audience. And that might not be 1 million people. Now if you're some major brand or whatever, you're Coke or Pepsi or something, yeah, you would love for your video to go viral because everybody drinks Coke or Pepsi or whatever. But, for most of us in our businesses, we don't have audiences like that. If we have a video that can really hit home with 200 people, whoa, I mean, that's fantastic. To produce a video and all of a sudden you've got 200 potential customers because of that one video. I mean, that's amazing. So manage your expectations. It doesn't have to go viral, or viral just might mean something different to you than viral does to the masses.
So if a business owner was only going to do one video, and like, I hate video, I don't want to do video, I'm not comfortable with video, what is the one video every business should have?
I just mentioned it a moment ago. It's the About Us video. I'm a big believer in this. I think the About Us video is the most important video that any business can do. It's the one that every business should have because it really is that first impression that you're able to give. And one of the great things about the About Us video from a marketing perspective, we're always looking for like where our assets can fit into the marketing funnel or the marketing flywheel, whatever you use. The About Us video is super versatile. I mean, you could really make a case that it works in just about any phase of that customer journey that you're sending them on. So the About Us video is a great video to produce. And again, that's simply who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Introduce yourself to people, show them who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And that is a great video to have.
That's good advice. Good advice. And a worthwhile investment. I mean, we invest all that money on driving traffic to our website. Why not invest in having something that really will resonate and connect with people when they get there? So
I'll give you a quick story about that. At one point, I went into the office of a CMO, and her question for me was, what do I tell our CEO when she asks me, can't we just do this with our iPhone? And this is a $1 billion company that I was meeting with. And I reached out to her desk and I picked up one of the business cards off her desk, which was like, as nice a business card as you could imagine, just thick, embossed, color, everything. And I was like, wow, it's a really nice business card. Did you just go down to like Home Depot and get the Avery business cards and print these out here in the office on your printers here? And she laughed and she said, no, of course not. And I said, well, how much money did you spend on business cards this year? She said, I don't know, probably tens of thousands of dollars. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because where do most of these end up? And I tossed it in the trash can. And I said, you're willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars on something that most people are just going to throw out, but you want to produce your company's About Us video yourselves and put it out on the internet for the entire world and every single one of your customers to see? And she said, I think I can sell the CEO on that. And I said, well, I certainly hope so.
Do you have a favorite video project that you did, that you produced, and why did that resonate so much with you?
Absolutely. We did a ton of videos for a Catholic health system called Catholic Health Initiatives. They have now merged with another company and become Common Spirit Health. But when CHI was CHI, they're very much into their values and producing videos about, their company values. And so we were doing a video for them where we were basically traveling all over the country, visiting different hospitals that they manage and interviewing their employees to ask them sort of what each of the values meant to them personally. And we were going to put together a single video on this, on this project. And we got to this one particular hospital. Whenever we go into a business and people ask us, well, who should we, give you to interview or whatever, one of the things that we always talk about is, I'm far less concerned about the title for the person than I am the person themselves and their personality. We want people that are going to be comfortable on camera and open up to us. And, so what I always say is, you see somebody at the end of the hall and they're walking toward you and they put a smile on your face, just seeing them puts a smile on your face. That's who we want in the video. And so that's the description that we gave them. You can imagine a health system. We got tons of doctors and nurses and physician assistants and on and on. And the majority of them were fantastic and very nice people. They sent us this one woman at this one particular hospital that we went to, and she was amazing, just talking about what compassion, that was one of the company values, what that meant to her in her job and how she was there for the patients and the patients need her to do a good job. And so she wants to have compassion for the situation that they're in and give it her best every single day. And she's going on and on. And she was just amazing. And we probably talked for like 10 more minutes than anybody else that we had spoken with. And after the interview, one of their marketing people said to me, "You're going to do a video on her by herself, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, we're going to do this big video that you asked for, but we are also going to give you a video just on her because she was so good." And the reason she was so good is she was the custodian. And her story about, wanting to be there and having compassion for all the people that she's cleaning for, and they need a clean environment, and that's my job. And if they don't have that, they're not going to get better. And I mean, it was just mind blowing. It was so good. Her name is Johnny Jones. I'll never forget her. And so we produced this video just on Johnny, and that ended up kicking off a whole series where instead of just one video with all of these people, we started just featuring individual people throughout the organization and what each of these, each of these company values meant to them. And it was just amazing. I mean, it's when you talk about building trust, being able to do stories and videos like that on the people who work at the company or the organization, where we as customers or clients get to know the actual people and understanding who they are and what's important. I mean, from a trust perspective, that's a way to build trust. So it is by far my absolute favorite project that we've ever done.
That's awesome. It reminds me of the Honey Bunches of Notes ad. Do you remember the lady with on the assembly line with the hairnet on and
right?
Honey Bunch of I mean, because you just adored her because she was funny and she was, and and I realized that was scripted and all of that, but that same kind of thing where you can create that connection to individuals. I think that's great. So as we wrap up the episode, what are some one or two action items for, business owners who maybe have hesitated? How can they just take that leap and step forward into using video as part of their marketing strategy?
Well, I think the first and most important thing is don't get so wrapped up in the creative aspect of the video, because every video needs a plan. And so if you're deciding to do a video, the first thing you really need to do is have a plan for the video. So you want to determine who your audience is. You want to let me start that over again. You want to set a goal for yourself for what that video is going to do, help you do in some way. We're not just doing a video to do a video. Let's set a goal for it. Figure out who your audience is. Where are you going to, what channels are you going to use? Where are you going to distribute this video? You want to figure out what a story is that you can tell. And then you want to figure out how you're going to promote the video once it's all done. And write all of that down before you ever start thinking about the creative aspect of the video. And then once you have all of those things written down, then you can start brainstorming what your video ideas are going to be. And, it doesn't, even if you're like, well, I don't, shoot, I don't know, how to get started with the creative aspect. Start watching other videos that your industry is producing. Go, start looking at competitors. If you don't have any direct competitors in your market or whatever, start looking all over the world for what sort of videos people are producing in your space and use those to generate some creative ideas for yourself. So if you do that, if you start off with a plan and you write down all of those things and then you use other people's videos for inspiration, then you're off to a good start.
Yes, I am all about inspiration. Actually, I have my husband and I are in the process of looking for a beach house. And I have this picture on my bulletin board over here that is my inspiration for the decor.
Yep, that's great. That's fantastic.
I do think, you're a visual person. I'm a visual person. And it does inspire you when you get ideas and things from other creativity. That's great. Where can people find you?
Well, you can go to T60Productions.com. That is the video production company that I own. And you can find we have a blog and all sorts of stuff there. You can check me out on LinkedIn as well. I have a lot of LinkedIn followers. And then as far as the book goes, you can go to TonyGnau.com. And that's TonyGnau. That's my last name, GNAU. So TonyGnau.com. And there's all sorts of information on the book there. But those are some good places to start.
Awesome. Well, I'll include those links down in the comments of the blog and the YouTube and all the things so people can find it there. And,
thank you.
Tony, thank you so much for being here. This has been really good. And I was looking forward to this because I was one of those hesitant videos. Even though I do it for other people, I didn't want to do it.
Well, see, you should serve as inspiration to all those business owners out there. Yeah, they can do it too.
Get over yourself.
Bethany, thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
Thanks for being here.